Hello, and welcome to my quick recap session of my GRC Bootcamp workshop, Honesty and Sincerity in Career Pursuits. My name is Barron, and I am the Associate Principal at the middle school at the American School of Bombay in Mumbai, India. If you would like to connect with me through Twitter, you can find me at Mr. Barron Learns. So during our session, we talked about two main concepts, honesty and sincerity. Both of those are very closely related inside and outside the workplace. So the first step, before even going to a job fair, before going to an interview, is to be honest with oneself. It's really important for me to know myself and where I am on the career journey. So we're all at different points of a road on a journey in our careers. It's really great to know where that is. So before I go into the interview, there are four main things I need to keep in mind. First of all, I need to know what my future plan is, my near future plan and my distant future plan, because I want to know how I can follow that trajectory through my next job. Next, I need to understand my contribution. How am I going to be able to make where I go next a better place? A good way to do that is to think how I make where I am right now a better place. I also need to think about the way that my future employer will help me to be a better person. It looks like my face is blocking it a little bit right there. But knowing my needs, I can kind of ascertain by learning more about a potential employer whether they're able to meet my needs as a professional and as an individual, because as international school teachers, we have to make a lot of extra considerations when applying for positions at international schools. And finally, I need to understand my sandbox, my non-negotiables. So what are some things about lifestyle, about professional development, about growth, about my own personal values that are non-negotiables for me as I'm looking for a new position? Then when I go into my interview, I need to be a sincere interviewee. Now, of course, we present our best self when we're interviewing, but sadly sometimes interviews are between two people who are trying to kind of read between the lines. The truth is, we need to be able to be appropriately vulnerable and to be willing to admit mistakes that we've made in the past. I've heard a really funny story from a friend who said he interviewed someone for a job and asked that person, what's a time that you made a mistake and what did you learn from it? And after pausing for a moment, the person looked at him and said, I've never made a mistake. Now, obviously, we all have made mistakes before, and it's okay to talk about those. Actually, it's really good to talk about those in an interview. So here are three key takeaways for us as we're looking at sincerity in an interview. The first one is to know and be known. Make sure that you know the school that you're applying to really well. Every school that exists has somewhat of an inspiring mission, but the schools that really believe in what they say are the ones that go into detail about their mission and have examples of their mission at work, along with their core values and their vision. So take a look at that and see how that aligns with your own personal mission. I even encourage you to write a mission for yourself in your career. And how does that align with future employers and the missions that they have, as well as core values and integrity, who you are as an individual and your identity? Secondly, be appropriately vulnerable. Be willing to share about mistakes, about your own growth in your profession, where you are in that journey. So any organization that is worth its salt is one that understands that failure is a growth opportunity. So be willing to share some of those as well as, of course, highlighting some of the great things about who you are as a candidate. And third, share your future aspirations. Don't be afraid to say, in 5 years, I would like to be at this point. In 10 years, I would like to be at this point. For me, that was a desire to make the move from classroom teaching to school administration. And when I interviewed with different schools, I said to them, one of the things I'm really looking at is organic leadership opportunities. What organic leadership opportunities do you offer your teachers? Some of the schools were stumped. Some had some pretty basic responses, and then a handful of them had very detailed explanations of how they offer leadership opportunities to teachers. And one of them was the American School of Bombay. And it was actually the main reason why I chose the option to become a teacher at the American School of Bombay. And ultimately, that moved me into a position through those leadership opportunities to apply for the associate principal role. So being honest about your future aspirations will set you up for success, not just in getting a contract, but feeling like you belong and feeling like you are being fulfilled in your role and your growth as an educator. One additional thing that I encourage you to do is to take the VIA character assessment. This gives you a chance to identify in a little bit more of an objective way your character traits that really stand out and how they can benefit a future employer as well. So when you're thinking about your own contributions, it is really helpful in an interview to be able to say, well, actually, according to this survey, these are my strengths, and this is how I feel I can use them. I know I already use them this way, and this is how I feel I can use them at your school. So that will really set you up for success when walking into or logging on to an interview. I hope this brief overview of our session was helpful to you. Please feel free to reach out, and thank you for your time.